For me, I just watching the charts and just based on history. One thing historically, Ethereum has always led alt season. It has always led alt season. Everybody's still waiting. It's slightly waking up. Ethereum's slightly waking up, but it's not there yet.
So I want to touch a little bit on the altcoins as well. Right now that we understand where Bitcoin is setting and Bitcoin dominance, I'm not so sure, but we're sitting at pretty high levels in the Bitcoin dominance in the whole crypto market space. What do you think that's going to happen with the altcoins? Are we in the altcoin season yet, or are we potentially starting that altcoin season?
For me personally, I don't think Bitcoin dominance has stopped. That should sound strange because we're seeing so many altcoins going higher, but the biggest legs is still to come, and we're now surpassing 100k. The biggest tsunami of Bitcoin is going to happen now within the next 3 to 4 months.
We are now live as Bitcoin hits $100,000. Many skeptics said it could never happen. Many people have given up throughout the race, but the march is long and hard. And we believe we're only at the midst of the beginnings of this crazy crypto run that's about to happen in 2025. Many people didn't believe we could reach 100K, but here we are. 2 weeks before Christmas, we are about to hit crazy numbers, and Bitcoin is just getting started. We're gonna get the points of view of two investors, Timothy and Mimi, and we're gonna see what they have to say about the crypto bull run that's about to happen. So let's get it started. First of all, I want to understand what you guys are thinking when you first saw, because I just woke up this morning and every single notification in my phone was like bing 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 saying Bitcoin had just reached 100K. So what happened to you guys? Where were you? How do you see it? I want to know. Mimi, tell me first.
Well, to be honest, I was actually in bed because I was up very late as usual. My time schedule is insane, but it wasn't just alerts, it was like messages from other colleagues and then friends and family, and it's just like blowing up. And my reaction, I was like, that's fantastic. I think I expected it. I think all of us expected it. And it's the same as what I said last time in November with Bitcoin reaching 80K. Had not expect that. The discussions were 80K sometime towards the end of this year. It happened, mid-November or so. And then we were like, great, that's insane. Possibly 100K at the end of November. Obviously, Bitcoin consolidated for a while. And now with Bitcoin, after that, I was thinking Bitcoin 100K by the end of this year. We're still early in the month. So for me, I wasn't surprised, but I was actually more surprised about the timing. I thought early, cool. Now that, in a sense, in terms of forecasts, in terms of strategy and all of that, it's shifted a little bit. And that's something that we'll probably get into more.
For sure. Timothy, what are your thoughts? I see you stewing there.
Yeah, I was asleep. I was asleep when it happened, so I woke up with a lot of notifications. And yesterday, I posted a blog where I even thought that Bitcoin couldn't make it to 100K or breach that level. Well, it was a scenario where it is really a difficult wall to breach. So I didn't see it happen this year because, we've been waiting so long for this moment, and I've been contacted by so many people that they're selling 100K, so there was a big sell wall. But now all these sellers are just gone. There's no more sellers left at the 100K level. And what you're seeing is still, in my opinion, institutions, big players buying. We have MicroStrategy buying even at 100K. So for me, this is not the beginning. It's also not the middle point. We're already past the middle point, but there's still the speculative phase to come. And this is where we're heading now in the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's interesting. I woke up today and it was kind of like every morning I play through the websites and I go Finviz, I go CoinMarketCap, do all of my routines just to see what the market is doing. And then I saw Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden, just like the notifications, you pull the notifications tabs and everything was going nuts. So Yeah, again, I was asleep, but I like, the thing is like, I'm kind of surprised of how fast it happened going into December, right? Because we did see that 90, like that almost, I think we reached what, 98K, 99K, and then all of a sudden we saw that retracement back to 90. So there was a really good opportunity now. Now, obviously, now after you see what happened, there was a very good opportunity to buy Bitcoin. But I was thinking we reached K just before December, like ends, right? So, but I didn't think we were gonna go so. I was thinking Christmas just because I was hoping on that sort of word of mouth effect to kind of take place and everybody start talking about it and during. But I'm guessing we just had the Thanksgiving in the United States, which is a very like holiday time where a lot of people are, Adrian, what did you buy? Like, what, did you still hold that Bitcoin you told me about 3 years ago? And next thing you know, it's like sitting at 100K. So people are starting to get started. But that's definitely something I want to get into because I want to understand, right, where we're going, like sort of, okay, where we've been to, because all of, like one of the things that we were discussing before the show, Mimi, was like kind of like it's hard to come up with new data because in moments like this, when the price target is reached, there's no new data. The data's already been out for so long. You do the research beforehand, and actually you come up with something that actually, it's like, so now it's, yeah, the research is done. There's really, you can incorporate maybe new data points, but the whole data set is set out. We were expecting this. I think Timothy said it. He wasn't expecting the break of 100, but we were still hoping to stay at this levels. There was nothing that was going to retrace, right? So that's what I want to sort of go into now. It's understanding what made Bitcoin reach the 100K mark in your perception at this level, like at this time, because obviously we have that institutional influence that Timothy's talking about, right? But I want to see where sort of like what other factors you think are coming into play, and maybe people can incorporate this in the way that they start investing in the asset class going forward too. So,
Yeah.
Mimi.
I mean, like that's definitely very, very good questions to think about because look, everything's moving so fast. Like I said, it's moving so fast to the point that we can't simply keep up with all the information, the data that's coming through. One thing that really does stand out for me that I've been hearing a lot about, and I did read about it, is that everybody was shouting about the new chairman of the SEC, right? And there was a lot of misinformation, unfortunately. People like it's Paul Atkins is going to be the new chairman, but the thing is, he's been nominated. He hasn't accepted the role. So that's still in waiting. We're still waiting for that at the moment. And so I think that possibly has driven because it's not just about Ripple. Once you have the chairman of SEC in, it's for the entire crypto community. Regulatory, the environment's going to be so much better for crypto, and so that may have been one significant catalyst. I believe Bitcoin was bound to reach 100K at some point. A lot of people were thinking by the end of this year. It just came a lot sooner, and potentially those rumors swirling could have pushed it past 100K. It wasn't that far off. We were teetering on 98 or so, between 96, 98, and around about 96 for a while. And then I remember someone a day ago said Bitcoin crash, and I looked at it and it was like 96 to 94. I'm like, that's
It's absurd. It's absurd.
it's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. For Bitcoin, the variance and volatility of Bitcoin, like a 2% drop, 3% drop, many people think, oh my God, like, but it's I've seen Bitcoin drop 60, 70, 80. But I agree
yes,
fully with
yes,
you.
yes. That's those are my thoughts at the moment, very briefly. I don't know, Timothy, what do you think?
Yeah, you said it all. It's all about Trump who's pushing crypto. So if I could add something else, I'm more like a price analyst, more a cycle analyst, which is clear to me that Bitcoin is following the path he should be following. 2 years ago, in 2022, Bitcoin bottomed, and that's when an other cycle theorist calculated that in 2024, by the end of it, Bitcoin would start march into the next bull market for 6 to 12 months. So if you look at timing, everything is on schedule. Nothing is to be surprised. I mean, if Kamala was going to be president, I believe it could have taken a bit longer, but eventually Bitcoin would have surpassed that K level. So for me, everything is just doing what it should be doing, and that's my thought.
I get you. I get you. No, I mean, if this road has been one that has been, at least I believe we've closely followed it for a while, right? And many people think, is you get lucky whenever an asset class goes up and you're fully invested in that asset. People think, oh, you just got lucky, but in reality, like, they don't look at the amount. It's like looking at the top of the iceberg, but without realizing the amount of research that goes at the bottom, right? So moments like this is when you reflection and you say, okay, like, my research was correct. Did I make my positioning right? Did I make my portfolio allocation the right way? And it's moments of reflection as well. It's moments of euphoria and happiness, but at the same time realizing, okay, what are we going to do and how we're going to sort of implement those things, So I'm going forward because, like, this was something my dad, like, I invest with my father a lot, right? So he's interesting because it's the idea that he gets euphoric and it's the euphoria time, but it's like by the time the euphoria happens, we're already too past that, right? So it's already gone, right? So keeping in mind that it's like, okay, like, what's going to happen next? And this is not the only bubble, or maybe bubble or no bubble, which is something I want to ask. I touched on the bubble word, the B word, rare bad. But
Knock wood.
the question something I want to ask you guys down the line, but it's understanding that price appreciation on assets, it happens not only one time or twice. Like, this is a journey. It's not an event or a moment. So this is just a very exciting part of the journey. But again, there's opportunities that are going to come down the line with different assets, different projects, different altcoins and all that stuff. So I want to touch a little bit on the altcoins as well, right? Now that we understand where Bitcoin is setting and Bitcoin dominance, not so sure, but we're sitting at pretty high levels in the Bitcoin dominance in the whole crypto market space. What do you think that's going to happen with the altcoins? Are we in the altcoin season yet, or are we potentially starting that altcoin season? What kind of projects are you looking for? I'm letting you guys take the ball on this one. Correct.
A lot. Let me try and speak coherently. So, okay, so in terms of Bitcoin dominance, it's obviously been like pretty much easing at a quicker rate than last we spoke. It's not as low as we want it to be just yet. Now, there are differing opinions on alt season. Technically, we are in alt season. I know that for me, I have been saying that I don't think that we are. Look, there are so many indicators. Bitcoin dominance, so I've been speaking about, Tether dominance as well. Then we've got the altcoin index, which is very, very high at the moment. For me, I just watching the charts and just based on history, one thing historically, Ethereum has always led alt season. It has always led alt season. Everybody's still waiting. It's slightly waking up. Ethereum's slightly waking up, but it's not there yet. For me, I have a range, and I would say that once Ethereum surpasses like 4,000, around that range, give it a little while, and then you will just see all the alts being pulled up. At the moment, what we're seeing is that we're seeing specific tokens go on their little rallies, not little, massive rallies. God, there were so many. You've got HBAR, you've got Cardano, you got Tron recently. Ripple went on his thing. There's so many, Comp and all that, but they're all doing it very individually, and it's a very good sign. And I've seen it before happen right before alt season. They do their own thing, and then when I say we're not in it, I'm more so really referring to we're not in the thick of it yet. Not the peak, but we're not in the thick of it yet. And when we're in the thick of it, Ethereum is skyrocketing and it's pulling everything up. Or you'll see almost all tokens put up immense numbers every single day. And when you say euphoria, and we've always used the word euphoria. This time around, I'm using the word hysteria. So after euphoria, it's going to be hysteria. Even for the most seasoned crypto investors, we're going to watch these charts and wake up every morning and be like, what is happening? Like, it's good, but what on earth? This is absolute hysteria, absolute insanity. And we're not in the thick of it yet. And that's why I keep saying we're not there yet. Very soon.
Okay, that's pretty much what I'm thinking as well. But I'm not the person who's going to wait for altcoin season to invest in altcoins. I think we have to be clear that it's not because it's altcoin season, not yet, or already, that you should make your decision based on that. I'm sure you, Mimi, Nestor, we bought altcoins way before we were thinking about it's gonna be altcoin season. It's about establishing your positions early and letting them run. And you have positions or sectors in altcoins that are going to push 1 week, and then the next week is gonna be the Dino coins like XRP and ADA, as we saw. And maybe next week is gonna be dog coins again. So you're gonna see them go up and down. So you have to be positioned and make sure to not try to catch every shiny object. Okay, so you have to stick in those positions and ride them, the ups and downs. Is it altcoin season? I believe it is, because we have so many tokens now. I think it's impossible that there will be a moment where every altcoin is going up. There's so many altcoins right now, much more than we had 4 years ago. So the amount of money we need to make them pump all together, it seems so impossible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm not gonna wait for it. And yes, ETH is going to pump one day, but it has underperformed for the past 2 years against Bitcoin. It does look like it could be bottoming, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to continue to stay a lagger. Just because the attention is now much more on to meme coins and Solana, and it's possible that this will continue to happen for the next couple of months. And Ethereum is like the house of DeFi. I don't see much meme coins on Ethereum besides Pepe and other smaller ones. So when retail comes, it's about speculation, and speculation is going to be in Solana because that's like the Las Vegas of crypto. And those are my thoughts. I could be wrong. I'm positioned in Ethereum, but my size in Solana has overtaken Ethereum size just because it has outperformed, and I'm just keeping it the way it is now. And if Ethereum is gonna surpass Solana again, no problem. I mean, I'm happy in both scenarios. So that's my
Nice.
thoughts.
No, I agree with you. It's interesting that you said, it's like I think like this sort of this rally, I have not bought any additional altcoins. It's like I've stayed away from altcoins and I've kept the coins that I've had from previous rallies. It's like I've like some of the projects that are outside of the top 100 even, right? Which I like the project, I like how the development is going, and like for example, one of them is Golem. One coin that I've always liked for so long. And it's like it's about renting the network and renting, but my coins were bought years ago. It's like I'm not even buying now. I'm just letting them ride from long times ago. And I've seen those projects come down, but it's like, hey, I believe, so I just end up putting more towards the projects that I truly believe in, right? But it's interesting that you speak, right? Because like if we have to draw some sort of chart, right, Mimi, we have to go. We will be going from like a consolidation phase, which for a while, like it's like when we agree that the volatility of Bitcoin is so high, we have that consolidation phase that takes forever, and it could mean Bitcoin from 60K all the way to 20K, trying to figure out that price discovery. But we're entering now what we're now entering that euphoria phase, which is where we're sitting at right now, where everybody's starting to, oh my god, did you see? Oh my god, what is happening? Like we're not even caring about companies anymore, because even Nvidia was out of the spotlight, but Bitcoin is now in the spotlight and everybody's paying attention. So we're entering that euphoria phase. And then the next phase of this market is going to be the hysteria phase, which is going to be like where retail money comes in. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, like, oh my God, like now your grandma is looking at Coin Market Cap on the phone and pay attention to those. So I'm going to show you a couple of charts here that I got, because I like the charts. This is a shout out to Akeem. He started, I continue. But let me show you guys my charts, right? So we're in festive season, as you can see, Bitcoin 100K, but we'll start here, right? So I like Google Trends a lot because it's kind of like the pathway of how like a lot of people, they don't even know what cryptocurrencies is. So you end up just going to Google and then cryptos or whatever, right? It's interesting because we saw, for example, Bitcoin during the 2017 go crazy. right? Like the growth of Bitcoin was crazy, but we see that we're still not at the highs of that euphoria or that hysteria part. 2017, 2021, we're still not at those highs, but we are the highest Bitcoin has ever been, right? So when we go, for example, in the last 5 years, we still see that there is room to grow, and we're seeing that sort of like maybe some other coins taking in the center stage. So you talked about XRP, and one of the things I like about XRP is the fact that it had this big ass monster sitting on top, the SEC on top of them for so long during the last rally that many people have held the coins for years without seeing any benefit because they just had that sort of like looming knife at the back. But that's sort of disappearing, which will allow potentially for that to grow a little bit more. But even if we look at the cryptocurrency markets, like cryptocurrency itself is also growing. It's not just Bitcoin anymore. It's starting to be, okay, let's look at the whole ecosystem. Let's look at the whole space. So that's interesting. Now, when I think retail, I think of the meme sort of brokers, sort of like, they're not so memey anymore, but before they used to be, you know, it's Robinhood, it's Coinbase, all of the ways that you are able to get, and you can see that we're still so far away from the highs, right? Even the 2021 highs of people going in and creating their accounts and actually making purchases and all that stuff, because we still have a lot of retail. Like when you're in a space, you talk to people that are, you know, on a day-to-day basis, it's like, yeah, everybody knows about Bitcoin, but in reality, no one knows. Like I asked my aunt came to visit me the other day, and she has no idea what cryptocurrency Bitcoin is. You know what I mean? Whenever she talks to me about it, I know that there is a bubble, you know, I know something's happened, you know, but you use that sort of as a barometer to understand how the ecosystem is playing out. But for places like this, like even if we go to the five, like in the past, like we can see that we're still super low in the amount of people that know about this, that are paying attention to this, that are even looking at this as an asset class. So there's still a lot of room to grow. The question is the technical analysis matter? Like Timothy said, he likes to look at price action, and price action matters because we have to understand that there is so much demand and so much supply at one moment in time, and that sort of derives the price as time goes by. Institutions are definitely front running the potential hype for the United States becoming an even bigger holder of Bitcoin. Because I think they do hold some Bitcoin in their balance sheets because of seizure of assets of thieves. And you know, back in the day, Bitcoin used to be the drug dealer's currency. Now it's the world's currency, starting to be, you know, or like the investor currency, or the investor sort of like hedge or protection against even the US dollar in this case. So cool. So let me ask you, what are you guys thinking? Do you guys are you guys thinking, are we in a bubble, or are we not? Like, is this a bubble, or is this not a bubble? You know?
No, I don't think we are. We were before, but we're not. Back into the Google trends, also like YouTube trends as well. It's very low. People researching on YouTube, and obviously everyone's going to YouTube as well, watching all the finfluencers. There's so many out there talking about when to sell, what to buy, you know, best tokens, 100x, all of that. Even the YouTube trends as well are not as high as it used to be. So that's another indicator that retail isn't there yet. In terms of where do we see, I don't know if this answers your question, but where do we see Bitcoin now, since that it's surpassed 100K? Now what? You know, it's been a lot, it's come a lot quicker than we had thought, but are you looking for YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm showing the YouTube chart.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. So go.
It's interesting because in the YouTube chart, in the YouTube search one, we actually have cryptocurrencies almost sitting at all-time highs, but Bitcoin sitting at low.
Yeah, Bitcoin sitting at low. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
That's
very cool.
Is it interesting and scary at the same time? Like what do you guys? Yeah. So I think what's happened here also based on that is that a lot of people are focused on, I thought I just cut out of it. A lot of people are focused on we're talking about meme super cycles. We're talking about the next, you know, making yourself a multi-millionaire, whatever it is. And so that's probably why the crypto searches are a lot higher, because all the influencers are talking about, no one's really talking about Bitcoin that I've seen on YouTube. No one's talking about Bitcoin. They're just talking about the next big thing. And so that's probably why it's high. But in terms of where I see Bitcoin will go next, is that it may consolidate within this range of 100 to maybe 105, 110. It will just sit around this range, and then we see Bitcoin dominance again cool down, and then the alts take the spotlight. And that's when we see hysteria come. That's when ETH rallies. And before, Timothy was talking about sectors. So where do we focus on now? Because I think that one of the questions everybody wants to know is like, what tokens should I get? What should I buy? And I think it's not so much specific tokens, because it's at the end of the day, it's very difficult. There's so many. It's very difficult to pinpoint which one to buy. It's more like, which sector should you focus on now if you want to catch the meme, you know, back then when we had the opportunity to buy those meme coins and then have the 50x's, 100x's. And I touched on this last time, and I truly still believe you've got to focus on the sectors, the up and coming sectors that have not bloomed yet, that have not exploded yet. And for me, that is still AI and gaming. And I'll keep talking about it until it actually happens, like I did with Ripple for so many years. Nobody believed in.
I'm sure we're gonna have an episode the moment those ones start rallying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because the way I feel about AI and gaming is the same I feel about Ripple. Except that Ripple had the SEC on their backs, obviously. But Ripple is such an exciting project, and the potential that it has, we all know now. But AI and gaming will be the next, pretty much. If you missed the meme entry, now is another, okay, look, not financial advice, but now is another opportunity, and it's the AI gaming space. If you want to get in, like people got in with Doge and Pepe, it's AI and gaming, and that's my focus now. How I'm scaling everything, how I'm structuring everything. I am securing profits with Bitcoin and shifting liquidity into some of the alts. That's my strategy right at this very moment. And I think that some people are doing that. Obviously, there will be some positions that I'll hold for a while during this cycle, provided, given how fast everything is moving and developing in terms of my exit strategy. At this very moment, it could be a lot sooner than I had anticipated. And that's something that I'm still fine tuning. And it's just as a daily and a weekly basis. And particularly now that Bitcoin has passed 100K, I'm living and breathing even more. Like I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. So that's
You don't see
where I'm
that.
at.
So Timothy, tell me,
Yeah.
to
So a lot
bubble
to
or not to bubble?
So first of all, you were talking about the Google searches, and one interesting indicator is the app of Coinbase being number one in the App Store for every team. When you look at 2021 and 2017, it was number one each time, the most downloaded app from the App Store. So that's something to remember and keep an eye on. Besides that, no, I don't think we're in a bubble. There will be a bubble, maybe in 4 months, maybe in 6 months. There will be a phase where everything is going bazooka, and we have to acknowledge that this is not sustainable. That's the path, but right now it's still like a normal uptrend for Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. For me personally, I don't think Bitcoin dominance has stopped. That should sound strange because we're seeing so many altcoins going higher, but the biggest legs is still to come. And we're now surpassing K. The biggest tsunami of Bitcoin is going to happen now within the next 3 to 4 months. That's what I think. Okay. I'm also invested in altcoins, but that's just what I think. And then later we're gonna see much more money flowing into the altcoins. And like Mimi said, AI, gaming, And I still believe meme coins have a big part of this hysteria phase, and that's what I've been doing lately, just putting more into meme coins because they have lagged a bit in recent weeks with XRP pumping, ADA pumping. That money will flow back into the meme coins like Pepe, Doge. I bought even Bonk on eToro. That's really what I think will happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Anybody knows. But I'm prepared for a big dominance Bitcoin push, but also in a big altcoin push either way. So I'm thinking we're gonna be happy either way. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like about sort of investing, well, and the diversification aspect of it, right? Like even if one of the projects ends up not working out, right? Even considering the idea of diversifying a little bit into different projects and spreading the wallet doesn't have to go, you don't have to go big or go home. You can go small and take base hits. So it's like, so that's also something to take into consideration too. So yeah, like for me in the crypto space, it's like, it's a small part of my portfolio. I don't think I'm as heavy as you guys in terms of my portfolio allocation, because right now I think on my eToro portfolio, I'm only with the miners. I only hold Mara. I don't even hold Bitcoin in my eToro portfolio, which is nuts. But obviously on side portfolios, I definitely hold different things, but obviously because it's the risk tolerance that I have for the public, in terms of, but I do believe in the crypto miners as well, because I do see the value, and it's a way that you can play a little bit of higher returns than Bitcoin itself sometimes, if you trade in and out properly, right? So there's different ways, because we discussed at the beginning of the episode, we had MicroStrategy, right? The way that they are doing the leverage, their leverage position in Bitcoin, and how they're borrowing money to buy Bitcoin seems to be paying off right now, but it's still extremely risky. And then you have all of the miners, Riot, Mara, all of those that are still sort of like not shown the asset appreciation in their books just yet. As they're coming into this quarter, potentially we're gonna see crazy beats next earning releases. So that's definitely something we have to stay tuned for. In terms of the market right now, I think I have a feeling that January might not be as good as as you guys think, and the reason is because it's like right now there is a lot of sort of doubt between like understanding fully, like we believe Trump is pro crypto, but we don't know how pro crypto he's going to be the moment he starts in the presidency and what starts happening. So we have an idea of what's happening, but when reality sets in, I think it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news. So there are going to be opportunities from here until the next 4 months to start placing and allocating positions. Like we're always going to get dipped. I think you should buy the dips? 100%, but I think we're going to get that volatility and that variance as we are heading into the 3, 4, 5 month mark. So I have a feeling for some reason I think we start, like we come in strong now that we potentially retrace back to the 100 to see if we can actually maintain that level, and then we're gonna go into potentially higher as the that sort of his euphoria starts setting in even stronger during the holidays, because that's when everybody's going to start talking about it. So how was your year? Oh, my year was great. I just made $500,000 with Bitcoin. Oh, what do you mean? Excuse me? So all of a sudden you're going to get that sort of family talks, and that's going to bring a lot of retail money in, which I do think it's going to, and then when Trump sets into office, that's when we're going to see potentially some restructuring and rebalancing of a lot of assets and portfolios to playing the bigger picture, not only in crypto but in stocks and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
so something to pay attention to, the macro perspective of it, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be a bit of a balancing act. Like for me personally, I do think December, January, February will be insane. It will be great months. However, I do agree with you, there will be a lot of volatility. And I think during those months are going to be moments where people will get shaken at, where people really feel that fear and really feel that doubt. And so trying to have that balancing, knowing, going with your gut, going with my gut is that yes, it's going to be great. Trump inauguration and everything. You are correct. It's still quite an unknown of what he will do. But for myself and my portfolio, I will begin to build my cash reserves by the end of this year and be ready. Still have my positions there for some great rallies, which I think will come. Look, with Bitcoin being sitting around the 100K mark, there is potential that there will be a significant 20%, 30% pullback. And I'll be prepared for that. I'm sure all of us will be prepared for that. That is going to come at some point. And those are the moments, and we've seen it historically, it has happened before. Those are the moments where a lot of people will start just getting out. And then they'll just see everything surging again, and then they'll just buy higher again. So it's just trying to manage that, looking at historical patterns, being prepared for any case scenario. Crypto, we've got technical analyses, we need to take that into consideration, but at times it's quite illogical, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Hence why we have the meme super cycle to come as well. And I do agree with Timothy, the meme super cycle is going to come, and it's good to continue to invest in that. When I talk about AI and gaming, I was more talking about more long term. But yeah, I think shifting from, I've always said, it's quite, the narratives are cyclical. So going from utility, hype, which is memes, to back to utility and hype, and then just goes around and around. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah,
Timothy, anything you want to add before we do our little ad read?
I don't remember the question. It was
No, it's just pretty
I
much
just went on a
closing remarks.
ramble.
It's just pretty much closing remarks, you know? As a
No,
closing, in conclusion.
I think Mimi is right. I think Nestor definitely with the inauguration, how do you say that? For Trump
Inauguration, yeah.
will be important. So feels like Bitcoin could be toppy somewhere in January, make that volatile spike 30%, maybe 35% shakeout,
Great.
as we know can happen in every bull market. But let me tell you one thing. You are not here to time the top or the bottom. You're here to eat the sweet cake in the middle. Okay? You have to make sure you don't let all these gains fly by you. You have to grab the opportunity to take at least a bit of the cake and train that sell muscle. Okay? Because if you're gonna only sell at the end of the cycle, then I assure you, you won't. Okay, you have to train to become a seller again. Now you've been a buyer for the last 3 years. Let's become sellers. XRP, it moved 280% in less than a month. I took some profit. Do I think it can go higher? Yes, probably. But what's wrong with taking some profit? So keep in mind to take at least some off the table, and when that 30% correction comes, you have some ammo to invest again or to go buy your Lamborghini, whatever.
No, taking money off the table is always money on the table is not a risk, you know. So money in your pocket is always money in your pocket is always better than money on the table. Even though it can give you more, it's always a risk, you know. Taking them profits, I think, you know, it's like, and again, it doesn't have to be the whole portfolio. It can be parts of your position. Just understanding that, and then you can always re-enter and buy some more. Will you get less coins? Sure, but hey, you're guaranteed that in the other case, you can also buy more coins. So you get both sides of the coin.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
But yeah.
Profit
Yeah.
is profit. Profit is profit.
Exactly.
And I mean, like, I'll stop talking soon. Profit is profit. And yes, no one will ever be able to time the peak. None of us have ever been able to do that. Just be happy. Look, if you double your money and you're happy with it, just take that. Triple it, happy with that. Do not chase the pump. Don't also chase the hype.
Yeah.
That's what I'll end with.
Yeah. Just make sure. Okay. So just make sure if you're watching and you made it this far, make sure you check out our sponsor ourselves. Our links is in the description down below. So make sure you click and make sure you follow us and keep tracks on what we have, because Mimi, like she said, she's going to be paying attention to the market on a minute-to-minute basis, and she's going to be making decisions on her portfolios day to day. Timothy, I'm sure he's going to be paying attention too, and their insight is, what's the word? Invaluable.
Yes.
Invaluable. There we go. So
Priceless.
that's, you know, yeah, priceless, you know. So it's like, make sure that if you can look at their portfolios on eToro, you can see what trades they're making, you can see what assets they're holding, you can see what they're thinking on a day-to-day basis. So make sure you go and click their links, and also mind if you feel like it, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, you don't have to, you know. Again, it's only a sponsored bit, but hey. But make sure you check us out, and we're going to be posting on a regular basis. So if you made it this far, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, because we're more than happy to answer questions as the rally continues, as Bitcoin continues to hit all-time highs, and as the stock market keeps us making us money.